Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of war, kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must read carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.
My father made ruling these lands seem so simple. And while my first 5 years of being a duke have been relatively peaceful, there are so many more pieces that hold the system in place than I had ever imagined. But my father's scope was also severely limited, only caring for this small, tiny corner of the world. But to understand where House Barcelona can go, we have to take in our surroundings and use them for our benefit. To the north, stability is a joke told by jesters and drunkards. The splintering that has followed King Charles the Bald's death weakens Francia, split now into West Francia and Aquitaine, with Wessex pushing in quite quickly. Is now the time to strike out for independence after a failed attempt to murder the king? Italy splits Eastern and Western Europe, with rumors the King Lothair II of the Carlings desiring to form a Holy Roman Empire, whatever that could actually mean. Would House Carling seen any benefit to allying with the small Duke of Barcelona? It's possible, given the right persuasions. And to my south, the Iberian struggle rolls on. Conciliation seems to be prevailing, and for that I am indeed thankful for. Perhaps things might be peaceful enough that I can be a major influence once I'm rid of my current liege. So much to do, and I must get to it. Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 role-playing series, continuing as DUKE Guifré The Second. There are a couple of housekeeping things we need to address very quickly. First and foremost, of course, if you enjoy any part of this, you can engage the YouTube algorithm, push this video out there by giving it a like, giving it a thumbs up, whatever it is, subscribing to the channel, turning on bell notifications, and of course, leaving your comments. As always, I read every single comment. We'll take into consideration most of them if it's really good advice, which it has been of late. We have a lot of things to do today, but one last thing I want to mention is that I am hoping to start this week, obviously not with this episode, but going forward, the plan is to release these early to patrons and YouTube members. These people have gone above and beyond support-wise, and I feel this is the most appropriate way to reward them for doing so. Now, that doesn't mean that they get any special inclination outside of that regarding, obviously, names within the game. But still, I feel like this is the best way to say, hey, this is my little token of appreciation. So the plan is to try and schedule things going forward with enough time to send it out a day early to YouTube members and patrons, and then release it the day after to the public. Let me know your thoughts on that. Again, it's just a way that I can help say thank you, because I don't know how to say thank you enough. I feel like putting people in a game isn't enough thanks. But it is appreciated, and of course, if you can't financially support, that is not anything to be worried about or freak out over. I absolutely love everyone's support regardless of what they do, and it is very much appreciated. This is July 3rd of 2022, and in the States, and it is the beginning of Independence Weekend. Well, really it started yesterday. So periodically throughout, you may hear pops, you may hear loud noises. It's simply fireworks. I'm not going to edit them out. Just what happened the time of day that I'm trying to record this. So apologies ahead of time, but that is something that will happen. You'll hear fireworks. It'll be all good. Now, to get our game face on, let's dive into DUKE Guifré the Second's story. There are so many wheels and so many cogs that run empires, and I'm just a meager duchy. I can't fathom trying to rule a kingdom or an empire, although that is my goal. Now, there are several things. My failed attempt against the king, murdering him, did not work, and for that I can thank largely my brother, Radis. I don't appreciate it. But there is something that we can do that I think would be beneficial. Now, currently, King Carloman the Impaler does have a couple of very, very strong alliances. King Arnulf of Bavaria and King Carloman II of West Francia. That does put very, very large amounts of levies in his hands. Now, I myself have two relatively decent alliances, but they obviously don't come anywhere close. So there are several things that I could do. We could see if the Taifa, he actually doesn't have much. You know what? Emir Ayub ibn Yusuf is the son of my father's best friend. Perhaps he would like to negotiate an alliance. He will barely accept it. That's fine with me. And on top of that, we may be able to befriend him, but I am looking on swaying my Baron Gerard simply to kind of dissolve any issues with him not being on the council. So we'll see if that goes through. But there is another way that we can influence the king. If we can get Duke Asner of Gascon, if we can get Duke Ebels of Toulouse, and even Duke Bernat II of Languedoc on our side, I feel we could push this into a greater area. Now, I don't just want independence. Independence would be great. Rather, I want to say I don't believe that the Kingdom of Aquitaine should exist, and it would essentially break apart the realm. And anyone who joins this, they would become independent, and the Liege would just lose their primary title. It wouldn't even be much outside of that. I am going to start that, and like I said, if we could convince Duke Anzer, Duke Gosber, or Gosber, Duke Ebels, any of these guys, even my brother, Duke Radolf Radis, I feel like we'd be able to push that. Duke, I assume you are in Bordeaux. I am, or you are. Let's see if we can't discover some secrets that maybe I can force him to join and work our way down. Overall, I think this is a better course. Independence tends to be a little more bloodier, but if we can convince enough vassals to come to my side, I think we'd be able to do this bloodless, which would be the absolute best way. Now, we're just waiting for a little bit of an update, be it from alliances or my sister Antha working on her secrets. An alliance has been formed with the Mir Ayub, which is really, really good. And you know what? I think... oh, we can't do two at once. Not yet, anyways. We have a mutual alliance, which means I have a significant number of troops at my side now. A very significant number of troops. Almost enough to take him on right now, but we're not going to. That obviously would not be a smart idea. If I could get another large ally, I think it would work, but I believe I've kind of hit my max on the number of alliances that will work. And then, of course, the Iberian struggle continues to rage on. I feel that once I'm independent, I'll be able to really push into this area a little more, as I won't have that external thing to worry about. A couple of months have gone by, and a thought occurred to me. It's going to be a good long while before any of this dissolution business is even physically possible for me to push. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes influence. In the meantime, I think I might have my eyes set on the Duchy of Mallorca, who has a good ally in Emir Ayub himself, but I have other allies that I feel I could definitely push. If I were to push this, it wouldn't cost a whole lot. I would gain the Duchy of Mallorca, which would give me my 2 duchies needed. Now, the only thing is that he does have a few more troops. He has a lot of bowmen, actually, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I feel if I could push in quickly, we'd be able to do this and execute it quite willingly. Never mind. And he is actually at war with Duke Rodolph. He is going after Ibiza. Very interesting. So he is already drug into a war, and his allies have already committed. Let's see how this war goes. I'm going to let it pass. I'm going to see if it sticks with it, what is able to happen. Maybe I can take advantage of the alliance that happens here in the near future. And out of the blue, I am now on to my 3rd king. King Godefroy of Aquitaine is 11 years old. His father died, very unfortunate, natural causes. He was disfigured, seems to have not have helped him. Now this is an interesting prospect because it means that his council is empty. No doubt I will become the new steward, but I'm wondering what this does for this. Currently, I'm still the only member. We have been swaying Duke Archambaud, excuse me, still can't get his name, Archambaud, who now has minus 100. Opinion of his predecessor is absolutely awful. Undoubtedly, he would want to join us. And Duke Asner has been imprisoned by King Carloman II of West Francia in a war that was going on until relatively recently. We have the chance to press this. If I could get one more guy to join, I think we could press those demands in just under a month, and we could try and push our way into independence through dissolution rather than actual independence breaking. Interesting. As an influential duke, it's only fair that you have a voice. But he's offered me the chancellorship. And has offered Duke Bernat II. I'll accept it for now. It gives me a huge boost to prestige. You know what? I think we'll keep it. That 2 per month is absolutely massive. And it will get me ahead so I can then push other ideas. It also gives a fellow vassal opinion of plus 15, which means they'll all like me more, which actually might feed into this by quite a bit. Maybe if I can get them to like me enough, they would be willing and able to join me, and I can now push the strength. It appears that he has secured no alliances yet. I still could not win against him, because I do not have the 500. I'm playing a very, very scary line here. Hopefully one that will benefit me in the very, very near future. As I'm walking through my halls one day, my sister Antha, my spy master, walks to me and very low-key slips a piece of paper into my hands. Now, this might seem out of the ordinary, out of context, but considering the context, when we were children, she would frequently do that to give me an out, to give me a heads up of something that had happened that I could use to my advantage. My sister and I are quite close indeed. So when she slips a piece of paper into my hand in the hallways where no one can see, I quickly find the nearest chamber, go into it, and read it. It's a small slip and it simply says 3 words, and that's it. It is time. Upon meeting her again in our secret, super secret spy master room, it turns out that Duke Asnar of Gascon has joined my dissolution faction. We now have military power equal to 233% of our king, and all we want to do is destroy the realm. That's it. Nothing too terribly big. Unfortunately, I cannot push anyone else as much as I want to. As much as I believe Duke Archambaud would join, he hasn't yet. We are going to press our demands. If he doesn't accept, there will be civil war, but I'm hoping that between my alliances and perhaps Duke's alliances as well with the Count Herbert, Count Gauthier, it will be enough to push things over the edge and again be bloodless if at all possible. The dice roll works. To the vile DUKE Guifré, your misguided demands only serve to weaken us all. Regardless, to spare the realm from futile bloodshed, I'm forced to accept your request for independence. Sign, King Godefroy of Aquitaine. It is a wise decision. Aquitaine, the kingdom, is destroyed, and I am independent. I am free of the grasp of Western Francia of Aquitaine, and Gascon is now its own place as well. I'm wondering if we couldn't befriend each other. He has quite the massive military strength. Perhaps arranging a marriage. His kids, his children are all married, so I'm not quite sure how that would be possible. His wife, unfortunately, is behind bars. I'm wondering if befriending him, it doesn't seem like it would work. He is a greedy man, and he doesn't really like generous people. I need to now turn my eyes, apparently, away from Francia and towards the Iberian Peninsula. In the Iberian struggle, we are still an opportunity. Conciliation seems like it will come out ahead, which again, I am thankful for. But it does mean that I am running rather low on time. And because of that, I'm wondering, interesting, how long will we have to wait is the question. 5 years, 906, that seems easy enough, but we can still push our claims here. Absolutely, unless he is nowhere towards offering vassalage. Let's do it. I think we could win where he hasn't before. I'm going to call on all 3 of my allies. Unfortunately, I can only call on 2 of them, because I forgot that my last ally is indeed part of this war already with Duke Radus. Sheikh Saladin will join, and Sheikh Mushin ibn Hisham of Isbilia will join as well. That is fantastic news. We are going to raise all of our levies, and in fact, should we hire some slaughterers? Let's do it. Let's just overkill this. I feel it will be necessary. And we are going to have to land there. I'm wondering how well that will work. Let's go for it. It turns out he was waiting for me, which is something that I expected. I'm hoping that my superior commander, that my knights, unfortunately he has more counters, but maybe, perhaps, just maybe, my allies will come in time. It was a little bit of a risk. I'll admit it wasn't the smartest move. But that's the way things roll sometimes. I do not believe my allies are on their way yet. It does not. Yeah, they're not going to make it. Now I need to recover a peasant uprising. I believe I could help you with that in just a minute. Oh no. Anthus uncovered a secret by Count Raymond of Bigorre. He was the man behind a failed attempt against Countess Regelinda, who is the wife of Count Garcia, who was a vassal in the Duchy of Gascon. Interesting. We're actually going to pull her away from her duties. She's done fantastic here, and in fact, I kind of want to see if I can't push some secrets into here. We need to find all the devious things going on in the courts in which I wish to try to push into, and this will certainly help. I seem to have caught the enemy off guard. Wherever he is, whatever he is doing... Oh, he is fighting against Duke Radolf Radus. Yes, that war has finally given me the advantage I need. Ooh. My uncle, tutor, and friend, Ricolf de Barcelona. He seems to be very upset. He is rather old in age. Perhaps he's becoming a little bit senile. I'll brush it off. It's nothing that I can't handle. And now I've also captured a combatant, and I am besieging the county of Yabisa, or rather my commander is. I have done what my brother cannot. Haha, brother. I beat you to it. Disband all very quickly. Gives me 5 out of 5, and I'm going to immediately push the control. It will take 7 years, but I think it would be worth it. But you know what I also haven't done that I need to realize? My wife is still not pregnant. She's only given birth to 1 child. I need to romance her. I think that is the best choice. Much like my father romanced my mother, so I will romance her here. I will secretly plant... I'll go with a gut. Go with my gut in the moment. I recruit one of my most senior soldiers and practice with them for 3-day stay. Once he deems me ready, we head together for the main courtyard. As we begin to spar, a crowd gathers, and their cheers soon draw none other than the graceful Duchess Inigwin. The soldier fights valiantly, but I disarm him with a final flawless thrust. I kneel before Inigwin, declare my noble intentions. I dedicate this victory to you, Duchess Inigwin. Bringing you honor is my only desire. My spring blossom is speechless, but clearly flattered. Why else would she be smiling thusly? Ooh, she won't resist my charms for long. The rain is pouring down outside. My sensible Duchess Inigwin sighs as she looks out the blurred window. How wretched Barcelona can be. I wish I had someone to keep me company during long and dreary days. Is my sunshine a cat person or a dog person, I wonder? A loyal dog, absolutely. A pet dog would give diplomacy and prowess, and the scheme success chance increases. Oh no, she dislikes it though. She lost 10 opinion of me. That's not good. By God, Duchess Inigwin is an unsufferable doxy. Have you seen how she sneers? Ridiculous. My knight, de la de Impures, throws his head back with a wicked laugh. Inigwin is still conversing with her friends, but I can tell she hurt him. I hate to see her hurt. Ooh. Let us... An act of heroism. He is actually less than I am. But that's not really what I am about. No, you should apologize. That's absolutely the diplomatic option. I convinced him to apologize. Yes. They both gained opinion positive factors of me. Very good. As if it wasn't hard enough, as of late, all my visits have been ruined by my knight Wolfgang. He follows her everywhere like a lost puppy. His attempts to charm the lady are laughable, yet I fear his persistence will be rewarded. Oh no. Oh no. His love's not true. Coin will persuade him to stop. You know what? I am quite the generous person. Awesome. He accepts the bribe. And unfortunately, a flight of fancy happens. Long have humans lusted the sword of the heavens. That would prove that we can. Sure, we'll do it. He flew! Wow. 150 prestige. Seigneur de Castellano joined the court. And Garda de Barcelona gained the trait Brave. Awesome. My word, I'm going through hoops and ladders and everything in between. When Duchess Inigwin suggests a hunt, I did not hesitate to organize one. I would do anything for a mere glimpse of my beauty. I am stalking through the underbrush, my page at my heel and my hound just ahead. It seems as if I found a trail. Then suddenly my concentration is shattered by a woman's scream. I am coming for you, my love. Absolutely. Within what must have been a minute, but felt like an hour, I reach a clearing. Inigwin is on the ground before me, disheveled and weaponless. Opposite her stands a huge boar. My arrow strikes true, and the beast falls to the ground. For a moment, all Inigwin can do is stare, but then she stumbles towards me and throws herself into my arms. I need you, my love, right here and now. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. She becomes my soulmate. I lay with her next to a bleeding and dying boar. She gains 10 opinion of me, and I gain 150 prestige. Couldn't ask for a better outcome, and unlike my father's fate attempt to become a soulmate, I believe this one is 100% true. Ah, a chance to showcase my generosity. At least that's the thought in my head as my vassal mayor, Elvira, has arrived outside my castle with a grand procession of well-dressed diplomats, knights, and exotic entertainers. The fellowship resembles a parade led by Elvira herself. In a booming voice, is very strong for a lady of her stature, Elvira announces she is here to pay homage, and that she comes bearing gifts of gold. Such generosity is hard to find in a subject. Her loyalty is truly something to treasure. Now, it is beyond us to try and push gold. It's just not who we are. But if we kept the gold, or if we had her keep the gold, her opinion drastically changes. We actually do get a reward. It comes in the form of prestige, and we gain diplomacy lifestyle experience, which I believe will eventually push me closer and closer to the vassalization acceptance tier. And finally, it appears that laying with my lover next to a dying boar was enough to impregnate her. Oh, Inigwin, you've been so brave, so strong. Words cannot describe my love for you, and now we have a perfect little daughter. Ximena is actually a pretty interesting name. I think I like it. It seems to be, while not in succession of years, that I have indeed been following my father's footsteps more closely than I thought. I now have 2 daughters. May you grow to be strong and wise. No sooner am I celebrating my second daughter's birth than some rather unfortunate news. My mother, Antha, has died of old age. This does cause me a deal of stress, but it doesn't come all that terrible. I received a trinket, a rock crystal copper necklace. If you're reading this book, then you'll know that earlier in my father's life, in order to persuade Duchess Antha, he had to purchase a necklace for her. It was one of the conditions of becoming a soulmate. It's a fascinating story, one he's told many and many times over a slightly inebriated night as a quick jab or a fun tale to tell. And now that rock crystal copper necklace that my mother wore every single time I saw her has been passed down to me. Now, I certainly could wear it myself, but I think it belongs to someone who is much more important to my life and has more significance. Duchess Inigwin, my soulmate, I am going to gift this to you because I love you, because I believe that you would use it wisely and accordingly. I'm very excited that you're able to wear what my mother wore her whole life in recognition of the love between my father and my mother, so I would love to pass it down to you as my sign of my love to you. Bishop Bernat Amat has done it. I have received an unpressed claim on the Shiekdom of Tarragona. Sheikh Yaha loses 30 opinion on me, which is fine. Emir Aziz loses 20 opinion on me. We will see it done, and I believe I'm going to immediately turn right around and declare war. Now, he does have quite a lot more troops than I do, or at least in my army. Between my allies, though, all of whom should... Let me look here. He is allied... maybe this isn't the best idea. He has a truce with King Alfonso. But he is allied to the same man that we are allied to. And allied to another smaller presence. Unfortunately, were we to press these claims, I don't think we would be able to win. So instead, we will continue to press claims, hope perhaps he meets an untimely end, and I can see what else I can do. We are terribly close to declaring war on my brother. I wish. Abducting him does no good, because he is actually a spy master himself. We'll simply have to hang around and hope that I can try and do something to expand my realm while I still can. Either that, or we will wait for the war against King Godefroy. The Iberian struggle has progressed. We are now in the phase of consolation. This has various effects, including struggle clash casus bellis are more expensive. The Iberian reclamation casus belli has been introduced, which allows us to have very specific war targets. We can purchase truces for less gold. We have longer truces for wars within the struggle region, which means that were I to pursue a war at this very moment, it would have a much longer cooldown. Consolation isn't so much about peace as things are simply cooling down. It is unfortunate that it has taken this long for me to get involved, and while I indeed had hoped for peace, I also need to worry about my realm. This also makes hybridizing cultures easier. Releasing prisoners of a different culture provides some prestige, which would be beneficial for us. Our opinion of different cultures increases, and progressions and gains across several cultural things are actually significantly better. The biggest thing on here is that interfaith marriages are available between involved rulers. This is something we could have already done, but now it is available to everyone. And there are several things that provide prestige or piety. Marrying someone of a different faith, releasing prisoners of a different faith, learning a new language, which is actually something we are doing in the moment. I have decided to try pick up Arabic, much like my father. It's a gorgeous, beautiful language, and I honestly don't know what took me so long to try and do it. But also, the opinion of different faiths and the faith's liege increases. While this won't help me in the immediate as I try to wage war against Zaragoza, I believe in the rest of the region I will look relatively favorably. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned, we are in this next phase, but it doesn't mean that things are any less able for us. For some strange reason, Emir Aziz ibn Muhammad of Zaragoza no longer has allies, which means we can push the Shiekdom of Tarragona for a mere 125 prestige. which is something that I am more than happy to do. We already outnumber him and his kingdom entirely. If need be, I can call my allies to war, but it may not be necessary. But in fact, let's go ahead and bring Duke Radolf Radis, my brother, who I will probably end up conquering at a future date. Let's bring him in. We can do it for free. Very nice. And he has indeed joined. Let's go ahead and head down to Barcelona as I await. I now also have true ruler, which means offer vassalization acceptance will increase by 25, which might just help me. Let's move into the Wilia of Tarragona as he moves north, which is okay. Actually, I am going to head north while Radis moves along. Interesting. Catching thieves of myth. You picked the wrong castle, fool, screams my marshal as he threatens the frightened intruder with a sword. Under further pressure from my marshal, the young man explains he is part of a large criminal organization originating from the Shiekdom of Garnata and commanded by the dreaded Lorenzo, the King of Thieves. Interesting. So you're trying to set up a new thieves guild right under my nose, eh? I ask, to which the thief merely nods. He is willing to exchange further information for his life. Tell me where your accomplices hide and you may yet live. Work for me and disrupt the Shiekdom? No. I will gift your severed head to Sheikh Suleiman. We'll do this. He'll gain melancholic. Ramiro joins our court. I don't know who this person is. He's not too bad of a spy master. Absolutely. Well done. But I've received fantastic news. Absolutely fantastic news. Oh, Enigwin, you've yet been brave and strong again, as we have two perfect little children. One of you will grow up to carry on my legacy. The other will always remain in his shadow. I hope you will love each other, come what may. My wife has given birth to a daughter. She wants to name her Clemencia, and my son Dalmo. We know what has to happen here. We have to name him Guifré. Clemencia, I think I would rather... We'll name her a good Catholic name, Judith and Guifré. May you both grow strong and wise, twins! This is about to get extremely, extremely interesting. And in the middle of the war, I have been diligently at work learning the Arabic language, and it has been successful. Endless hours practicing accentuation, sleepless nights. During my efforts, I look to emulate Emir Ayyub's accent. You know what? I think I will send a letter. You never know. I impress him with my knowledge. Absolutely, he grows closer to forming a friendship, and I gain piety because of it. The war's not exactly going my way. I think I'm going to have to call in my allies. And I think we're going to call in all of them if possible. I really, really need this war to go well. I need that Shiekdom while I can still afford to do so. One ally, two allies, and indeed all three have come in. Hopefully this will give me the edge that I need. And already all of their soldiers are headed this way. We severely outnumber him. The Taifa of Sarakusta is about to be one Shiekdom less, I believe. How very interesting. Sheikh Saladin ibn Mal Undir of Malagon, my brother-in-law, has studied the Vulgar language. That is my language for many moons. He penned this missive. Impressive, send my regards, absolutely. I now have a friend, which triggers, of course, the Iberian struggle, and also gives me quite a bit of prestige, along other benefits. It's time to move down, to take back the Walia of Tarragona. I can only hope that my allies, the First Army of Madinat al-Maluk, will join me in such a venture. First I come in, then my ally shows up later, and indeed, yes, unfortunately, Wali or Shapur was wounded. Very nice. That's the victory that we need. And now it's time to take back the Shiekdom, the Walia, and then push on as quickly as we can. It appears that soulmates are the key to having lots of children. After all, your soulmates, all you want to do is, I guess, prove that. Inogen has come to me with another son. No, I shall name him something of a more northern name to make him stand out. Kristofer, It indeed is. Welcome, my son. May you grow strong and wise. It appears that Lorenzo, the King of Thieves, didn't take too kindly to taking of Ramiro. Hello, Guifré. I bet you weren't expecting to see me ever again, especially after you destroyed my organization years ago. But breaking something is as easy as putting it back together. I don't want to play cat and mouse any further. Grant me safe passage to Napoli, and you will never have to see me again. The guild will be rebuilt far away from you and your riches. You'll never see holding a pouch of coin in one hand and a concealed weapon in the other. If I help you leave for Italy, he pays me 15 gold. He'll depart, and King Lothair will lose 40 opinion of me. It's not something I'm terribly keen on. I don't want to pay him gold. I don't know that I want to get involved with King Lorenzo, the King of Thieves. For a few brief moments, Lorenzo and I pace in lazy half circles, each watching for an opening. I lift my mace, ready to defend myself while he clutches the sword firmly in hand. With a sudden twitch, our bout begins. Lorenzo surges forward, forcing me back with a quick slash before bringing me a high kick up to my chest. I almost topple. This will work like it does in the legends, right? No, that wouldn't be the right one to do. You'll never break my guard. Oh my goodness. Let's do this. Legendary technique. You try to copy a famous move from your favorite book. High chance of success, low increase to risk of injury. Very high chance to his likelihood of success, but also a very high risk of injury. I do my best to recall the legends. I try to lift my mace as the heroes of old. It's enough for a solid blow against my surprised foe. Lorenzo stays stock still, seemingly hoping I'll just throw down my mace. My form is good, small errors, and his stance is failing. My opponent's guard is fierce. I feel far from victory. You know what your problem is, Lorenzo? I give a disheartening speech and launch into a blistering spiel about Lorenzo's failings, gaining me prestige. Doesn't do a lot, but it may be enough to topple him over. And just like that, I meet each blow of my opponent's sword with a barbed quip and leap backwards. He strikes, grow increasingly hurried, frustration building visibly in the sloppiness of his blows, till Lorenzo lets loose a scream of frustration. At that exact moment, I brush past his guard, driving my mace deep into his throat. The bloody, torn mess left afterwards is painful just to look at. Thankfully, Lorenzo falls dead, face down, sparing us both the misery. I win in single combat, he was killed, and I become known as the Thief Slayer. What a better way to prove myself, to separate myself from my father indeed. I gain prestige and I also gain gold, which puts me in the positive. All good things as we wrap up the final siege that my commanders are laying down in the Walia of Huesca. The Barcelonian claim, which started 4 years ago for the Shiekdom of Tarragona, is finally accomplished. I get the Shiekdom, I get the Mosque of Tortosa. I'm going to immediately disband all. Tarragona, I do believe that we need to work on you. You know what? I'm actually going to gift Ibiza to someone. Maybe someone of immense prowess. You know what? Napoleone Paul, or Paul as I call him. Absolutely. You've been good. I'm granting you that so I can take over Tarragona. It will take quite a while, 5 years, but that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. I have gained the barony of Tarragona. Okay, we do have a ways to go. A ways to go, thank goodness, because I do not believe that my story is not nearly over. It is simply just beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up this episode of Duke Guifré II's conquest of Tarragona. So many things have been accomplished. We have gained our independence. We have shamed someone. We have become a thief slayer. I have so many children now. It is unbelievable, including an heir. So many things have happened, and I am incredibly thankful for it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me and walking through this chapter of Duke Guifré II's life. If you enjoyed any part of it, of course, engage that algorithm by liking the video, leaving comments, subscribing, and turning on bell notifications. But also know that going forward, to the best of my ability, I will be releasing videos early to patrons and to YouTube members. You can start as low as, I believe, $2 a month. It is never, ever, ever, ever required, but always immensely appreciated and shows your support above and beyond anything you can do outside of the things I just mentioned, although I do always appreciate them. Believe me, that is coming from the depth of my heart. I have never had engagement on this channel happen so readily and so amazingly, and I do appreciate it from the depths and bottom of my heart. This has been an incredible journey so far, and I am very thankful for it. Guys, once again, thank you for watching. Look forward to the next episode as we push our limits as a newly independent ruler. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.
Iberia, ravaged by the bloody tides of four, kings and sultans, dukes and emirs. Adversity makes for strange bedfellows, my friend. And you must tread carefully if you are to decide the fate of Iberia.